Chris, we're here to celebrate the learning that we've done this year, and Track Ahead is about learning, but it's in maybe a way that folks might not expect, and it looks like a lot of the audience doesn't know so much about Track Ahead just yet. So if you could give us a little bit of insight about what you're working on and why, it'd be great.
Sure. Well, Track Ahead, I'll be brief about this, but the purpose of Track Ahead is to take this
Can you guys hear?
Is this
okay?
Okay. So the college student career discovery and development platform, and we generate this career activity, and we use that activity to match the students to the employers, and we use game mechanics and virtual communication tools to create ongoing and sustained interaction between the students and the employers. So it's a long-term approach to recruitment. So our vision is it's really about starting your career development process right in your education process, and the activities that you do have relevance, and so we create these rewards where the students, as they build up the points and levels, can actually earn the interactions with the employers who may hire them one day. So it's a dual platform. So it's an idea that's created challenges because you've got this chicken and egg thing where you've got to have enough employers to make it compelling to the student and enough students to make it compelling to the employers. So a lot of what I've been doing between 2011 and today is creating that collaboration and partnerships to make the education and employer piece possible.
That's so awesome. So definitely please go check out those especially the Economist pitch. I love the way you pitch it at the Economist Human Potential Forum. You were a finalist, correct?
Yes, that whole thing started. Now I've got to, I just got to take a sec to explain it, but
yeah.
It came from earlier this year. I found out about the Lumina Foundation teamed up with the Economist and with a quantified work challenge. So I submitted the Track Ahead idea along with over 600 other submissions, and found out that I was one of 3 finalists, and that got to go to New York at the Economist Human Potential Forum in late September, and got to do that pitch and got a lot of learning and experience from that.
It's awesome. So what is kind of in the spirit of the event tonight and the end of the year, and what is kind of the biggest lesson you've learned, or one of the biggest lessons you've learned working with Track Ahead over the past year and before that?
Well, there's been a lot of evolution, as working with organizations like Lumina, working with Developer Town, getting a chance to talk to employers, big and small, and you sort of start to, pivot and evolve in the idea to make it stronger. And I think as a founder, when you start doing this evolution thing, you start, when people say, well, it's really evolved over the last couple of years, I find myself explaining that almost apologetically, and you realize that it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because, when you're just getting out there and, you just get out there and you talk, and some of the ideas are going to be validated and some of them aren't, but you can't really make a mistake as long as you're learning from it. What I tried to do is just not make that mistake twice. As the saying goes, there's very little education in the second kick of a mule, so I tried to keep that in mind.
Yeah, well said. So
pretty folksy from a guy who spent 10 years in New York.
Hey, look at that! Yeah, are we in Indiana? Hey, so speaking of evolution, what is the next step for Track Ahead? What are you hoping to learn next year?
Well, what we hope to do is, as we start development next year, is to get learning from, as we develop from the actual users, so student users, employer users, and education users, to make sure that we include, there's a finite amount of functionality we're going to get it launched. So what do we want to make sure is that we've captured the most compelling pieces that, the student user and the employer are looking for. So that's the next round of learning, I think.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Join me in thanking Chris for sharing that learning.